In the simplest terms, tariffs are taxes placed on goods that are brought into a country from abroad. Whenever a product crosses a national border, the government may charge a fee, known as a tariff, before it can be sold in local markets. These taxes are usually paid by the companies importing the goods, but the effects are felt throughout the economy. Think of tariffs like tolls on a highway. But instead of cars paying to use the road, it's products like electronics, clothing, or food paying to enter a country. Every time a shipment of goods arrives at the border, it's as if it's passing through a toll booth and the government collects a fee. This fee can vary depending on the type of product and the country it's coming from. Governments use tariffs for several important reasons. One of the main goals is to protect their own industries from foreign competition. For example, if a country wants to support its steel industry, it might put a tariff on imported steel. This makes foreign steel more expensive, so local factories have a better chance to compete and grow. Tariffs can help preserve jobs in key industries and encourage companies to invest in domestic production. When a tariff is added, the price of imported goods often goes up. This means that shoppers might notice higher prices on things like cars, electronics, or even groceries that come from other countries. As a result, local businesses may find it easier to sell their products, since imported alternatives become less attractive due to the higher cost. But tariffs aren't just about protecting local industries. Sometimes governments use them as a tool in international negotiations. By raising tariffs, a country can put pressure on its trading partners to change certain policies or to agree to better terms in trade deals. Tariffs can be a way to signal dissatisfaction or to encourage cooperation between nations. However, there's a downside to tariffs. When the cost of imported goods rises, it's often everyday consumers who feel the pinch. Families may find that their weekly shopping bills go up, and businesses that rely on imported materials might have to raise their prices as well. This can lead to inflation, making life more expensive for everyone. And the story doesn't end there. If one country imposes tariffs, others might respond by putting their own tariffs in place. This is called retaliation. When that happens, businesses that export goods, like farmers, manufacturers, or tech companies, can suddenly find it harder to sell their products overseas. Factories may slow down, and jobs can be put at risk. In the end, tariffs are a delicate balancing act. They can help some industries and workers, but they can also hurt others. There are winners and losers on both sides of the border, and the effects can ripple through the entire global economy. Understanding tariffs is key to understanding how countries interact and how those decisions impact our daily lives. Before we continue, if you like this video, please remember to share it with your friends. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then watch some more of our videos. The world of international trade was forever altered when President Trump took office and began implementing his bold, controversial strategies. With a determination rarely seen in modern politics, Trump shook up the global trade landscape by wielding tariffs as his weapon of choice. He made it clear that the days of what he called unfair trade deals were over, and that the United States would no longer tolerate what he saw as exploitation by foreign competitors. In a series of dramatic moves, President Trump imposed hefty tariffs on a wide range of goods imported from China, Mexico, the European Union, and several other major trading partners. These tariffs were not minor adjustments. They were sweeping, affecting billions of dollars in trade and touching nearly every sector of the American economy. Unsurprisingly, these actions did not go unanswered. Other countries quickly retaliated, imposing their own tariffs on American products. This tit-for-tat escalation led to a global trade standoff, with each side trying to protect its own interests while bracing for economic fallout. President Trump argued that these tough measures were necessary to defend American jobs and industries from what he described as decades of unfair trade practices. He insisted that without such protection, American workers would continue to lose out to cheaper foreign labor and government-subsidized industries abroad. He claimed that for too long, other countries had taken advantage of the United States, reaping the benefits of open markets while imposing barriers of their own. Tariffs, he said, were a way to finally level the playing field and restore fairness to international commerce. This bold approach, soon dubbed the America First trade policy, sent shockwaves through the global economy. Markets reacted with volatility, businesses scrambled to adapt, and the world watched as a new era in trade began, one defined by uncertainty, confrontation, and a fierce debate over the future of globalization. Not everyone believes Trump's tariffs are a recipe for disaster. Cathie Wood, a prominent investor, believes they could be a risky but ultimately successful strategy to achieve freer trade. Her theory? It's a kind of shock therapy. Wood argues that the tariffs are a way to shake up the system and force other countries to the negotiating table. This tough love approach, she believes, could ultimately lead to lower tariffs and fewer trade barriers around the world. It's a bold prediction, but Wood is known for her unconventional thinking. Adding to the complexity of the situation are the mixed messages coming from within the Trump administration itself. While President Trump doubled down on his tough talk, others like Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin seemed more open to finding common ground with trading partners. This inconsistency fueled uncertainty in the markets. Businesses didn't know what to expect next, making it difficult to plan for the future. The lack of a clear, unified strategy from the White House only added to the confusion. The impact of tariffs rippled through the U.S. economy, touching nearly every corner of American life. When tariffs are imposed, they don't just affect the companies directly involved in international trade, they send shockwaves through supply chains, local businesses, and ultimately, the wallets of everyday people. From bustling city centers to small towns, the effects are felt in ways both obvious and subtle. For consumers, tariffs often translate into higher prices on everyday goods. Whether you're shopping for groceries, picking up household essentials, or buying back-to-school supplies, you might notice your dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Retailers, facing increased costs on imported products, often have no choice but to pass those costs on to shoppers. This means families may have to make tough choices, cutting back on non-essentials or searching for cheaper alternatives. Remember those sleek smartphones everyone loves? These devices, packed with the latest technology, are assembled from parts sourced all over the world. When tariffs are placed on Chinese electronics, the cost of importing these components rises, making the final product more expensive for American consumers. Suddenly, upgrading to the newest model or replacing a broken phone becomes a bigger financial decision. Tariffs on Chinese electronics didn't just affect big tech companies, they hit consumers directly at the checkout counter. Even small price increases can add up, especially for families with multiple devices or students needing technology for school. The agricultural sector was hit particularly hard by the trade war. American farmers, who already face unpredictable weather and fluctuating markets, found themselves caught in the crossfire of international politics. Many rely on exporting their crops to make ends meet. China, a major buyer of American soybeans and other crops, retaliated with tariffs of its own. This move made American products more expensive and less competitive overseas, leading to a sharp drop in exports. As a result, American farmers were left with surplus crops they couldn't sell, driving down prices and threatening their livelihoods. Some faced mounting debts, while others worried about the future of family farms passed down through generations. These are just two examples of how tariffs can have real-world consequences, impacting both pocketbooks and entire industries across the country. From the food we eat to the technology we use, tariffs shape the economic landscape in ways that touch us all, reminding us that global trade policies are never just abstract numbers, they're part of our daily lives. The big question is, what happens next? If the tariffs remain in place, we could see a slowdown in global economic growth. Businesses might hold back on investments, and consumers could cut back on spending. This could potentially tip the world into a recession. On the other hand, if President Trump's gamble pays off and the tariffs lead to better trade deals, it could boost the U.S. economy. Lower tariffs could make American products more competitive globally, leading to more exports and job creation. But it's a high-stakes gamble with no guaranteed outcome. The Federal Reserve, America's central bank, plays a crucial role in keeping the economy on track. They have tools to boost the economy if it slows down too much, like lowering interest rates to encourage borrowing and spending. But the Fed's job is tricky. They have to weigh the risks of inflation against the need to support economic growth. And the uncertainty created by the trade war makes their decisions even tougher. Only time will tell if Trump's tariff strategy will go down in history as a shrewd move or a reckless gamble. Could it really force other countries to give the U.S. better trade deals, boosting the American economy? Or will it backfire, sparking a global trade war and hurting everyone in the process? The stakes are high, and the world is watching closely to see how this unprecedented trade experiment plays out. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and watch more of our great videos. Thanks for watching!